This is a philosophical question about jokes themselves. Do you think that behind every joke is some truth? I want to do disaster tourism. Like I want to go, I mean, I'm not talking like Gaza Strip. Like I'm not talking that bad. I'm talking like I want to go to like some like middle of the woods, like redneck type of place where like there's really nothing to do there. I just want to like see what it's like.
See what the life is. Yeah. You'll probably see some crazy shit out here.
Like I want to go to Montana or some shit, you know?
Out with the bears.
I thought I was in a strip club actually, because there was like girls in like full on thongs behind the bar. I'm like, is this a strip club? Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Pranzata Podcast. This is your host, Andrea Pranzatelli. This is episode number 138 on the Pranzata Podcast on YouTube. We have a new guest today. This is a local Philadelphia stand-up comedian. His name is Duran. He is also the creator and producer of the amazing Philly-based comedy show called Casa Duran. I have a lot of questions for him today. Before we get into it, if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe if you like this content today. It is my mission to be a full-time podcaster, and every single subscriber helps me get closer to reaching the goal of that mission. Okay, so my first question for you, your show, Casa Duran, it started in your apartment.
It did.
My question for you is, how did you pull that off? Like, was there ever a point where you had complaints or like eviction? Like, did anybody say like, hey, you're going to get evicted if you keep doing this? Because like, what's the backstory of that? How did you pull off doing that in your apartment? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, so it was really weird story. So when I moved to the city, I was trying to get into the comedy scene. And then I just felt like I couldn't break into the cliques that were in the scene, you know? Yeah. So I was like, let me just throw this apartment show in my apartment and invite them over. Yeah. And it was going smooth. It was all going smooth until we got to the sixth show. And I knew that it was like, it was not good news.
Yeah.
Because there was this one guy, he came up to me and he opened up my closet where my shoes are, opened up the closet and took out a book bag and was like, hey, buddy, do you want to buy shrooms? And this is in my house. And then he was like, do you know who the owner is? And I was like, all right, I need to take this show elsewhere. I have no idea who this guy is.
So people were like, because I was there and I'm looking at your apartment and I'm like, this feels like the Matrix right now, because like your apartment looks pretty big, but it felt like there was like 200 people in there. Like, I don't know if I'm going crazy, but it felt like it kind of looked like my apartment's kind of big, but I feel like yours was a little bit bigger, but there were so many people there. I'm like, how did he do this? Like, how did he pull this off?
Yeah, it was always mayhem. And I don't know if you remember, but definitely when people sat down, it was calm. Like everyone looked like and you know, it looked like there was space, but there was a time when everybody would stand up like during the breaks or after the show. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, like we're definitely going to get in trouble here.
There's people like in your bedroom, like all over the place. Yeah. No. Do you have a roommate or is that just your apartment?
Just mine.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So my next question for you. I've noticed your show, Casa Duran, keeps getting bigger and bigger and better and better. What's like the ultimate vision for the show? Do you feel like you've gotten there, or is there more that you're working towards right now? Like, are you like, okay, my next goal is to get it to bigger venues, or like, what's your vision for your show?
Yeah. My vision is just to have my own club, my own brick and mortar club, you know, just to be able to have this show running once a month and then just have other producers come into the club and really just make it like a hub for comedians in Philly. You got off work early, you want to come by, write jokes, we'll have good music playing, jazz, coffee, come by, write your jokes, meet other comics, you know. But I want it to be a hub for people, you know.
You're doing a great job at it, because I feel like you're pretty consistent with it. You do it bi-weekly, right?
No, we do it once a month.
Once a month. I thought it was bi-weekly. But still, I feel like you have a lot of people there that every time I've been there, I see familiar faces, like people keep coming back and stuff like that. And like, just so the listeners, you know, if you haven't heard of it, Casa Duran in Philadelphia, he always has a music act at the end of it. I actually was lucky enough to play music there at one of the shows, but at the end, he always has like a local music act, and he has different comedians, and he's and like everybody there is there to have a good time. It's not like, oh, I mean, it's a mix. Some people, I'm like one of the old people that go to the comedy show and go early, like that's my thing. But then you have people there that are like, okay, we're gonna stay up and dance till like 2 a.m. So it's just it's cool. What you're doing is really fucking cool.
No, I appreciate it, and that's kind of the thing, right? Is that I really want it to be for everybody. you know, so we do the art vendors at 7:00, the jazz music, you know, you came and played the piano. So if you want to have an early night, come at 7:00.
That's what I do.
Go to the comedy show at 8 and then bounce home, you know.
That's what I do. Yeah, I noticed like
rage, bounce out Casa Duran late night.
When I went there, I was like, I feel so guilty. I'm gonna leave early. But then I noticed there was like a wave. Like it was like I was the early bird. Like I noticed like the comedians' parents and like the older people and me, like we all like left at the same time. And then there was like a new wave of people that came in like that. Probably they just woke up and they did, they got there late. Right. So you're right. It's like kind of like not an all day thing, but kind of. It's like a long, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, just trying to kind of see where it can go,
Yeah.
We shall see.
Okay, next question. Your name is London. I feel like that's not a Latino name. I feel like either that's your nickname or there's a backstory behind this name. Yeah. So tell me, like, why is this just a nickname, or why, like, did your mom name you that for a particular reason? Or
yeah, so that's my name. That's my name. Yeah, that's my actual name. It's so weird. Anytime I would ask my parents, they wouldn't give me any like serious answer. They were just like, one day we were on the toilet, like my dad was on the toilet and they were trying to come up with a name. Yeah. And they were like cutting out different names out of magazines and things like that and putting it into a hat. And my dad was like reading this travel magazine, cut out London, put it in the hat. They shook it up, chose it out one time, and they're like, nah, like that name's weird. Put it back in the hat, and then chose it out the second time, and they were like, nah.
They're like, let's go for it.
yeah, let's do it.
I was just like, I wonder if there's a backstory behind this, like if she named it after like an actor or something like that. It was just out of a hat.
Out of a hat from a travel magazine that they cut out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Next question. You seem like you have a lot of energy. Whenever I don't know if you're like that all the time, but whenever I see you at the shows, you're doing so many different things at once. You're like doing so many different hats at the same time, and you're putting on the show. You're doing some of the stand up yourself as well. Like you do your own stand up act there, all while like producing the show at the same time. Were you always like an energetic person? Like, is that like your natural way of being, or how are you like in your personal life?
Yeah, definitely energetic. Definitely.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely have always been kind of the energy bringer,
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
I'm like such the opposite as you. Like, it's weird. I can go to a party and be the life of the party in doses, but then there will always be a point where I'm like, I did it and I'm done. I just, like, I'm not like that all the time. It's so weird. I would have some friends be like, oh, you were so much fun when we went to Atlantic City. I'm like, I'll be the one like doing the shot, and then I'll be like, all right, it's time to go. I'm just a weird person. I don't know.
You see, that's the thing, is that I feel like now that I'm getting older, I like my alone time, now like I'll seek it out. I'll be like, okay, now I need to chill. But when I was younger, it was definitely just like run.
How old are you now?
28.
Oh, you're pretty young still.
Yeah. But even when I was like, I felt like I gain energy just from being around people.
Yeah.
So I was always just fucking bringing people to the crib or hanging with friends and stuff,
Yeah, you definitely seem that like that type of person for sure. Like you're just doing so many different things. I'm like, I don't know how this guy, like either he's taking some drug, he has ADHD, or that's just his natural way of being.
Definitely probably ADHD, but with a Puerto Rican mom, they're not, you're not doing shit except like sports and yoga.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you're Puerto Rican?
Yeah, we're like mixed up. I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican, and then my other side of the family is Peruvian and Spanish.
What did your mom think about the Tony Hinchcliffe Puerto Rican joke?
Oh, they were not fucking with it. But did you know that it was because there's an issue with the actual waste in Puerto Rico?
I heard. Okay, so it's funny. That whole thing was like, if you don't know who Tony Hinchcliffe is, that sounds like the most racist shit in the world.
Yo, for sure.
But if you're in the world of stand-up comedy and you know who he is, you're like, why did they hire him to do that? That was a really bad idea. But I saw a clip of him and some other comedians talking about it. But he came up with that joke because he loves Puerto Rico and he was worried about it. And he actually, apparently that joke was birthed out of him caring about Puerto Rico, but he made a joke of it in a really terrible way.
That did not sound like he was caring about it. At least the way it came off the first time, I was like, holy shit, did he really do this?
I just saw things on the news, like my friends are sending me articles like, there's a MAGA rally and it's trying to like mimic this like Nazi rally, and in the headlines it's like calling Puerto Rico a piece of trash, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I log in and it's Tony Hinchcliffe. I'm like, oh my god, what the
crazy fuck? Straight up. And I always thought it was so funny too, because like my grandparents were watching it, but they hate watching comedy. Like they would never turn on a comedy special, but they were there like watching this presidential whatever rally, and fucking Tony Hinchcliffe was spitting comedy. I was like, "What's up, Grandpa? You over there laughing, huh?"
Those jokes would have been great at the Kill Tony show, not at a political rally.
100%.
It's a big mistake. Okay, I was doing some internet stalking of you to try to come up with some questions for the podcast. You're originally from Miami, is that correct? Yeah. So I want to hear, like, what do you like better? Do you like Miami or Philly better, and why?
Yeah, I think it's so different, Miami and Philly, but I really love Philly. You know, I came out here to go to school. I played like basketball at this small school in Wayne, and I've been here since. You know, I just like how in Philly you can be yourself, wear whatever you want, wear sweatpants at the bar. You can, you know, I really enjoy Philly, like that aspect of it.
Is there anything about Miami that you did like, or you missed, or wasn't your thing?
I mean, Miami's popping. You know, if anybody's been there, that's just like, you know, nightlife is just the best. You know, the food is amazing. Tons of different like Hispanic cuisines. Yeah. But it's expensive. You know, so like I'll move to Miami when I can like buy a house on the water or something.
When's the last time you lived in Miami?
It's been a while, probably before college, maybe 2000. I would go home, but probably 8 years now.
Okay. Yeah. I would imagine it's changed quite a bit. I don't know if you visited lately, but I like nowadays when I hear Miami, I'm like, oh, that's where all the girls with the BBLs are. Like that's what
fuck yeah, dude. Even since we were young, for sure.
I'm like, that's what I picture Miami being like, all the Instagram models over there, like something like that. It's like not quite LA. It's like the Latina or Latino LA. That's like how I picture Miami in my head.
Literally, yeah. Just like a music video live. You know, it's like you're at Johnny Rockets. Why are you wearing high heels, bro?
Now that you put it that way, I can see how like you bring a little tiny flavor of Miami into your show, like into your London Duran show, because it definitely has that like we're gonna fuck shit up vibe to it. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like you brought that from Miami a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that's me, right? Like even in Miami, like everyone is as energetic as me. Like there's a lot of people who are hype, and you know, tons of them are on cocaine. You know, I'm not, but I feel like Miami is just, you know, that's where the energy is.
But you said in Philly, you feel like you have a way of like being able to be more yourself here. So you didn't feel that way in Miami?
Yeah, I feel like in Miami, everyone's so materialistic. So you're always looking at these people driving Ferraris and Range Rovers and just like, why am I walking to school, you know? Yeah. And you're just thinking of these things. But here, everyone's kind of just fucking grinding, doing their thing. Yeah. People are all involved with the arts and music. And
That's why I came here. Like a lot of people, they're like, why did you move to a city? And like, anybody listening, no offense if you ask me that question, I'm not picking on you. But to me, it's like a silly question. It's like, well, I don't know if it's a silly question, but it's like, because everything's here. Like if you're an artist in some kind of way, like I'm a musician, I was a comedian, but I haven't done it for years. But I still like have a lot of passion for comedy and podcasting and all that. And I'm like, why would like am I going to find like a bunch of podcast guests in the Jersey suburbs? Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I could, but it's just, to me, it's just like, it's lively. And like you said, there's just such a mix of different people you can meet here that you're not going to be able to necessarily meet if you're living in a suburb, you know?
No, 100%. Do you find yourself like taking yourself to New York and like using kind of this hub to...
No, because I actually lived closer to New York before. And I actually, before I moved to Philly, I actually thought of moving to New York, but it just wasn't affordable for me. Actually, that was originally my plan. I wanted to move to New York City, but it was impossible to make that a reality just because of the prices. The prices here were like, this apartment is affordable for me to live by myself. And that just, if I were to pull that off in New York City, I would have had to do it during the pandemic. I have some friends who did that. They're like, if the city ever comes alive again in New York, I'm going to get my apartment now. And they like got a really good deal on
and just rocked out.
Yes. I do have some friends that did that, but I wasn't like in a position to move at that time. So it just never worked out for me financially. But do you go to New York City a lot?
We try for comedy, you know, like next weekend I have a show in Staten Island and then we're going to stay there, and Saturday, like walk around and do open mics and stuff. But with the house thing, that's the thing about Miami too. It's like, come out here, get your own apartment. Like, this is so pretty in here. Yeah, go to Miami and you get a fucking box or need like 4 roommates, you know? Yeah. I'm like, it's not the same.
I'm always shocked to hear people too say that New York City is, Philadelphia is clean compared to New York City. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's my only complaint about Philly is that it seems really dirty here. But people who live in New York City, they're like, no. They're like, believe it or not. And my mom actually said, I don't know if my mom's going to listen to this. She says that to me all the time too. She's like, every time I go to New York, there's just rats and filth everywhere. I'm like, there's definitely a lot of filth here, but I guess just not as bad as
New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the rats. Yeah. I definitely, I feel like it's like Philly is so like small that we see it, because it's like I feel like you can walk from one side to the other, in the city pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And you see everything right there on that walk, So I feel like that's why.
Oh yeah, I go into South Philly sometimes to like teach piano lessons part time at a studio there. I go there like every Tuesday, and every now and then when like money's tight, and I'm like shit, if I don't have enough money for the subway today, I guess I'm just gonna walk north, like because you can look ahead and literally see it. You're like, I'm just gonna walk that way.
That's where I gotta go. Yo, hell yeah. No, same.
And then there's always like the fact that where I live is like North Philly. There's always some potential violence, criminal activity over here. Do you have that issue living in North Philly?
Not really. I also try not to like go out. Like I don't try to like walk around at 3 a.m. by myself.
Oh yeah, don't.
But I stay low key. I haven't seen anything really.
I've had some issues. I had my car stolen here. I had my bike stolen at the train station. I had like it's technically an assault. Some guy grabbed my ass at the train station. Like I don't want to laugh about it, but it's like it was just. Yeah, I've had some issues.
Was this the same day as the bike stealing at the train station?
No, these were all different days. Like these were all completely different situations, but that kind of scared me. Like when I had all those instances happen in Philly, I'm just like, damn, like this guy just went up and grabbed my ass like in like 3 p.m. I'm like, what the hell would happen if I was like out by myself at night?
Yeah,
So
that's scary.
Freaks me out.
Was he homeless?
No, he looked like a teenager.
I was gonna say, because the homeless people, I've had a couple friends where we were walking, and some homeless folks, they're like aggressive. One of them fucking grabbed this girl I was with, threw her, like spit on her, and I was like, oh my god,
yeah, the spit is worse.
When she spit, we were like, that's worst case scenario.
Honestly, that's worse than getting your ass grabbed.
You can, but spit, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, no, that's really disgusting.
Okay. I'm glad you're okay though. Sorry you had to go through all
I'm
that.
Okay.
Do you have like mace now or anything that you can fucking
I was like, I actually looked into like getting a weapon. I was like, shit, should I? And then like I was looking into the weapon laws around here, and I'm like, I don't need a gun. Like I have a history of depression. Like I'll probably kill myself before I get to defend myself. But but I have. And then I was looking into tasers. I was like, can I get a taser? I think you can legally have a taser around here. I'm not sure, but I just have some mace, and I have something that's like an alarm. Like if you just clip it on your purse, and the idea is to deter people. Like it's like a very loud alarm. So if you feel threatened, like someone comes up to you, you can like pull it, and if they hear the alarm, they might think like, oh my god, like the cops are coming. Like they might not know what to expect and just run. But even if they don't run from it, you can like spray them with mace. But
for sure,
I don't know. It's still like, I've never had to use my mace before, but it's still like, even I imagine like realistically, would I even be able to like get the mace out in time? Like, you know what I mean? If someone attacks you, it's like,
yeah. Have you ever like tried shooting it? Have you ever like practiced it on the floor?
No, but like I don't always carry it, and I'm like, damn, if I'm really nervous, I probably should just always have it out at night. Like I should always have it ready, right?
Yeah.
Like how is it gonna work? You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I got my sister one way back in the day, a little pink one, and a taser as well. And I'm pretty sure she like test shot it, one time at the floor. She was like, I gotta see if it works,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you have that though.
Yeah, at least it's something.
No, for sure.
Okay, this is a random change of pace. The first questions were more about your comedy show. Now these are just like random funny questions. I'm asking this because I'm starting to date right now. I've been single for a long time, and I'm like forcing myself out there. I'm on Tinder, all that. Ooh. I have a hot date actually after this.
Hey, where are you guys going?
I think at like a local coffee place. I don't know where yet because it's Sunday, so we have to find a place that's open late enough that's not going to close early. But my question for you, do you have any dating pet peeves? Like where you're like, I will not date a bitch that does XYZ. Like
dating pet peeves.
Like I can't date a girl that texts too much. Like anything.
Yeah, definitely. I can't date a girl who it's stressful going to restaurants with.
Well, with that, like, how would a girl make it stressful to go?
Like, if she's just like looking at them, like if she gets stressed out because she doesn't know what she wants to eat, and she's just like, 10 more minutes, I don't know. Just like one of my ex-girlfriends, she was like that kind of, and she was like just so stressed out about it.
Like she's like stressed, like
I don't know what I want to eat there. I don't know. All right, you order first. Just tell the server to come back. All right, and I'm like, Mama, we could have stayed home, and I could have made fucking spaghetti and meatballs, and we could have been chilling. I don't know. I like to chill.
Would that actually like would that cause you to break up with somebody if they did that? Or it's just like a pet peeve? Like,
and then she would get mad at servers or like be disrespectful. That shit'll cause me to break up for sure. I'll break up with them. Too. I don't like that shit.
I'm trying to be careful now in the dating thing because I feel like I fall in love too fast. So I never like filtered these things out. Like if you fall in love too fast and you just like hook up right away and you're already getting close with each other, sometimes you don't find out these things till later, right? Like so like you'll be whatever sleeping over each other's houses and then a couple months in you're like, you're a fucking asshole to the waiter. What the fuck? Like how did I not figure this out sooner? That would piss me off too, you know?
That's the worst. You can't, and I can't be in public with you, you know, then they're gonna think I'm an asshole. Yeah. I'm like, nah.
Are you the jealous type?
Yeah, I mean, I'll get jealous. It depends. I'm not like an angry jealous, but like, you know.
Yeah.
But in what way? Like if she's like talking to some
I think because we were talking about pet peeves, I think that would be a pet peeve for me because I'm doing the podcasting, you know, I'm talking, look, there's a guy here at my house right now. We're alone. I can't be dating a guy and him being like on your Instagram, who's this London Duran?
Oh no,
like,
that's
you know
weird.
What I mean? Like,
yeah,
that type of stuff. Like,
fuck no, I'm not like that.
Like I need to come to the podcast and make sure. Like I can't deal with that.
Yeah, no. Like but I feel like that's just trust. Like that's some insecure guy who's just fucking, you know, who's just like, is my girl gonna cheat on me? I need to watch her so she doesn't cheat on me every second. I'm like, nah, dude, you need to.
Definitely texting too much is another one. Like if someone wants to text all the time and I don't answer and they're like, what are you doing? Like, why didn't you answer? I'm like, dude, didn't feel like answering. I don't know. That's like a big one for me.
Does it get better? Like, I feel like when I was younger, I hate that shit too, the texting. But I feel like some girls love that shit. And then like, what should I do? Should I tell them, hey, I don't want to text all the time? Or like,
I just say establish a habit. Like, because I think this is where I think people make a mistake. They pretend to be somebody in the beginning of the relationship. My ex did this shit to me. He pretended, he like cuddled with me all the time. I'm definitely very physical. I love to cuddle. And then like 6 months later he stopped and I'm like, why did you stop? He's like, I really hate to cuddle. I'm like, why the fuck did you? He's like, oh, because I wanted to like lock down the relationship. And I'm like, well, now we're going to break up. Like that's a horrible idea. So same thing with the texting. If you're a guy who doesn't like to text, just like establish that in the beginning. So don't be like, I got to text her to get her in. And then now in a month, stop texting her. It's like, no, if you just be yourself because you're not going to find the people that are compatible with you unless you just like show who you are right away. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like, just don't text a lot. And then if in like a month or two, she's like, why don't you text? I just feel like, I just don't really, you know?
I don't enjoy it. Yeah. I also feel like the conversation, like if you're not texting all day, the conversation is so much better. You can chat about your days and stuff like that too. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Fuck texting.
Yeah. Fuck texting. Bringing it old school.
It's about FaceTime, bro.
What about friend pet peeves? Do you have any friend pet peeves? Like I don't fuck with someone, or like not even a friend, but just like an acquaintance. Like I hate fucking rude drivers, or I hate like anything like that.
Yeah. Not really. No, not really. I feel like I'm a pretty chill guy. Like I just don't like people who are dicks. Like just don't be an asshole, you know? Yeah. I really like inviting like all my friends to the same spaces so all of them know each other now and kind of chat. So I kind of just like good vibes. Yeah.
Do you feel chill when you're at your shows? Like when you're doing your shows, do you feel chill like we're here to have a good time, or do you get anxious like wondering if everybody's having fun?
Fuck yeah, anxious.
The reason I asked that is because the first show I went to, I felt that way about you because like I'm definitely, like I said, I am antisocial in a way, so I'm a people watcher. And I remember I was just like straight up chilling, like I was just sitting on the couch and I wasn't drinking because I just don't drink. And you looked like nervous. You were like, are you sure you're okay? I'm like, yes, I'm okay. But you just like had the energy of like everybody here needs to be having a good time. Like I definitely felt that way about you.
Yeah. I kind of always like to make sure, especially when you bring in so many energies into a room, you know. And I kind of am the like I kind of am the one who knows everybody.
If this person's not having fun, it's your fault.
I mean, I don't feel that way, but I just want to make sure they're cool. You know?
I remember.
Especially if it was your first time there, you were by yourself. Yeah. I want to make sure you had a little drink.
I knew it. You know? Yeah. I was like, he wants me to be having a good time. I know it.
Fucking smile more.
I'm one of those people that like people can't read and they think I hate them all the time. Like that's just me. I'm like very cat-like. Like I'm very just like chill. That's just how I am. I don't know.
Does that When you first start dating guys, are guys always asking you like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
No, but that would piss me off.
That shit's annoying.
That's actually my biggest nightmare. Like it's a phobia. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm feeling sick in some kind of way, or like when I'm feeling mentally unwell, my biggest phobia is that people are gonna know about it and like ask me about it. Like it's such a weird phobia. I was talking about it with one of my friends. I was like, I can't even smoke weed around people because like I get paranoid when I'm high. And like my biggest phobia is that someone's gonna know it and then like start asking about it. Like it sounds so crazy like when I say that out loud, but like if I'm not feeling good, I'm like super private about it. So the idea of someone being like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, that would piss me off.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I kind of fucking shell up if something's up, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, don't talk to me.
Do you smoke weed?
I smoke weed. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get like weird? Do you get like paranoia when you're high?
Not paranoia so much, but sometimes I'll fucking stutter. I'll get anxious of like just talking, you know? Yeah. But not, I have before. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Does it happen to you all the time? Every time you smoke?
Every time. There'd be times where like, I took like a couple years break off of smoking weed and I'm like, I want to try it again. And it would just be like, within 2 hits. I get high so fast, you know. I'm a lightweight in general. Drugs affect me in a weird way. Like I was just talking about this with one of my other friends. Whenever I smoke, I don't get chill, I get paranoid. And whenever I do mushrooms, I get serious. Like the last time I did mushrooms, I did my taxes that night. I don't have like a spiritual breakthrough. I get like real serious. Like
with the taxes, thinking about your future and shit. I see you. Let me know next time you do shrooms so I can give you all my W-9 forms to do my taxes for me.
And I'm actually really bad at doing paperwork, so maybe that was like my awakening, like to get my shit together. But like I did mushrooms and like I didn't feel any type of way. I remember just having a lot of energy and I like was like, I got to do my business taxes, and I was up to like 3 a.m. doing them.
That's hilarious. Yeah, when I do shrooms, I do not do taxes. I'm definitely just like, yo, that's a fucking soft carpet, bro. I
don't. Now, somebody told me they think it was a drug interaction because I was taking antidepressants. Apparently, antidepressants can cancel out the effects of mushrooms. I didn't know that, but I definitely felt something because I was up till 3 a.m., but it just wasn't that. It wasn't whatever people feel.
You're like, yo, whatever shrooms those were, bro, I did everything. Give me more of those, dude. And let me be more productive.
I tried cocaine when I was a teenager, and it made me calm.
Oh, that means, supposedly that means that you have ADHD. I just made that up. I don't know if I made that up, but someone said that. Up.
Somebody did say that. And I believe it. I don't have ADHD that I'm like bouncing off the walls because like I was just saying, I'm like very introverted and quiet, but my mind races a lot. Like, so I have ADHD brain. Like my brain bounces all over the place.
But your body's just
my body's still. So cocaine made me like normal. Like it just made me focus on one thing at a time instead of like bouncing all over the place.
Same though. I'm glad somebody feels me then. Somebody feels me. They're like, bro, aren't you hype, bro? Isn't this cocaine getting you crazy? And I'm like, this cocaine makes me want to tie my shoes the right way. Like this, it makes me want to just tie my shoes with the perfect knot right now. I
haven't done, oh my God, if my parents listen to this, they're going to freak out. I haven't done a lot of cocaine in my life. I had some friends in high school, I'm sure you know who they were, that they did that stuff, and I like tried it here and there with them, but I was never like a cokehead or anything like that, you know?
Yeah. Sorry, mom and dad for allowing us to hang with these friends.
Do you are you like a big mushrooms person? Like you do it a lot or
not? No, I don't. Yeah. I think mushrooms is the thing that like you have to respect that shit. Like if you take a lot of mushrooms, you can fuck around and trip and have, you know, I don't know. So I only do it like, I don't know.
Some people microdose it. Like they take it every day as like an antidepressant and they just kind of microdose. Yeah. I've heard of that as well.
I've microdosed mushrooms one time and it was nice. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do that shit every day though.
Yeah.
I would hope if I'm doing that shit every day, I would hope you would be like, London, are you okay? Should we check on you, dog?
I want to try it again because I'm not on my antidepressants anymore. So if there is like a counter effect, I might be able to actually experience what mushrooms really feels like now. But my problem is I don't know who to babysit me because I feel like don't you need a babysitter to do it? It's not something you can just do by yourself for the first time.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're microdosing, you're only taking like You know, like you're not taking anything that'll make you kind of have.
Because like, what if someone has like some type of psychotic effect and it doesn't hit them the right way, and they like, what if they jump out the window or something? Like, I don't want to be that person.
Lock all of the doors. Yeah. No.
Or like I kill my cats or some crazy shit.
Damn.
I love my cats. I would never do that, but I'm just saying, like, you never know. I heard of a story on the news that some girl got high and she killed her boyfriend and her dogs.
Oh shit.
And she was just smoking weed.
Damn. Had to be laced with something though. That's
yeah.
crazy.
So that's what I mean. Like, I don't want to be that bitch that like kills my whole family.
And you're like, bro, I was just smoking a joint. I don't know what happened. I was smoking a joint, took a hit. All of a sudden, they're all dead.
Yeah.
That's just supposedly that guy, Liam Payne, the One Direction. Supposedly he took some fucking 2CB or some drug, and he walked off the balcony. Supposedly he like wasn't trying to kill himself. He was just like trying to escape from his apartment, and supposedly he like walked off the balcony.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I know certain drugs will just make people do crazy things. Do you ever hear of I was just talking about this with one of my friends, Ambien? It's a sleeping pill.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Apparently it's a sleeping pill that I've never tried it personally, but it's a sleeping medication that makes people sleepwalk and do all kinds of crazy shit. And I was telling my friend, I dated this one guy once who he was trying to like get off of alcohol, and he was substituting it with all these weird things because he was like trying to quit an alcohol addiction. So somehow he got in the habit of like doing Ambien. And one day I get these weird texts from him out of the blue while I'm at work, and it's like, the chickens are here, we're making bets. Like, it was like half of it was scribble, like you couldn't act like gibberish, you couldn't read it, but then when you like looked really careful, he kept saying, the chickens are here, we're making bets, etc. And I was like, I gotta go check on him. And I drove to his house to check on him. He had his he was high on this Ambien, like sleepwalking, and he had his Facebook open on his computer, and he was posting all these cockfight videos.
Oh my!
And he had like a deck of cards out. Like, he had cards out because I guess like.
And he was betting on the chickens. Oh, he wasn't lying, yo. This is fucking.
He like tried. I couldn't communicate with him. Like, he was so in his own zone. Like, we're making bets, and he was like trying to go to the post office, but it was like the middle of the night. It was like 3:00 in the morning, and he was like trying to take a letter and bring it to the post office. So that's what I mean. It's like this person who walked off the balcony, they probably didn't even know they were doing it. They probably like thought they were walking in their house or something.
When you went to his house, were his eyes open or closed?
His eyes were open, but like it was very zombie-like. Like, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like he could see me. Like, he could, but it was like he was dreaming. He was dreaming, but with his eyes open. He was. Oh yeah, and then I looked it online. Like, I've heard of stories of Ambien where people like baked a turkey in the middle of the night. People cheated on their lovers in the middle of the night, and they didn't know they were doing
That's just an excuse. Yeah, I drove over there, got a fucking motel, Super 8.
Yeah.
But I didn't know I was sleeping, bro.
Yeah, what do you do? Like, if you're dating somebody and they cheat on you in the middle of the night on Ambien, it's like, what do you do about that?
I think that's kind of cool, yo. You're sneaky with it.
I think I would let it slide. I mean, like, I wouldn't want someone to cheat on me, but if they like took Ambien and didn't know they did it, like,
but don't say that loud. Wait. Don't say that on here, because any future dates are gonna hit you with excuses.
No, okay, I backtrack. If it's with a girl that you already know, I'd be pissed, because that means you had a thought about her already and now it's just coming out. Mm. But if it was like with a random stranger,
then who cares?
I mean, I wouldn't not care. I'd be like, let's get an STD test now. But I'd be like, I guess that he just didn't know. He might have thought it was me for all he fucking knows. You know what I mean? He was in his zone.
You'd be like, maybe we should stop doing Ambien after the 6th time. You're like, all right, I love you.
Yeah. No, I have yet to try Ambien as well, and that is something that I will definitely need a babysitter for if I do that. First of all, I don't need to do it. I don't think I want to do it.
Do you sleep well?
I sleep perfectly fine.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If I did it, it would just be for the experience of it, I guess.
Just a hope. Am I fucking sleepwalking right now, bro? Or?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, I do have some more questions for you.
Let's get it.
I don't know why I feel the need to like slap the book every time there's a question. I'm like, okay, next. It's a weird habit. Going back to, I should have put this before, but whatever. Going back to creating your show, your Casa Duran show, what are some of the biggest challenges that have gotten in your way of making it better in the past? Even, or they could be occurring now even, like time management, like coming up with the budget. Like, what's one of the hardest things that stops you from getting closer to where you want to go?
Yeah, I think right now the issues is just the fact that since I don't own these venues that we're throwing the shows in, I don't have full control of everything, the time I can set up, the time we can break down. So I'm kind of I have to, listen to them on that.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the toughest thing, trying to just kind of surpass their,
regulations
kind of regulations
about how they do
need.
things.
Yeah. Because if it was my, kind of a venue, I could run it the way I want, I can have the room set up. I can keep getting this room kind of more popping, but we're moving around different locations. So any room we have, we're kind of just trying to turn it into the best comedy club in this space,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think.
I haven't been to your latest location. What's your latest location now?
The one you went to.
Oh, that is the latest location.
That's the latest.
Oh, I thought you said you went to another one after that, but this one is good.
I like that. Yeah. No, it's a super cool spot. It's this restaurant it's like this bar lounge in Chinatown called XOX. But the next show is December 21st. Come through.
Yeah, no. When I went there was like, I thought I was in a strip club actually, because there was like girls in like full on thongs behind the bar. I'm like, is this a strip club? Like, and I asked somebody and they're like, no, this is a cool bar. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. When we walked in there too, I wasn't expecting that at all, but I was like, all right, cool.
Wait, do they do that all the time? Like
all the time, yeah.
And it's in China? It's a restaurant?
Yeah, it's just like a bar lounge.
They just have like kids come in there and there's just like full booty out.
And it's like, here's us. Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't think I've ever been. I went to one strip club, but it doesn't count because it wasn't like a bunch of hot girls. It was like it was like a small town like dive strip club. It wasn't even a strip club. It was just like a little bar with like women in bikinis like running around. I've never been to like a strip club like Miami, like with like a bunch of hot girls there. Have you ever done that?
I have, yeah. I've been to a couple strip clubs.
Is it awkward or is it fun?
I think they're cool. I think they're like, I don't like them. I don't really like going to them. But I think it depends who you go with. You gotta like, if you go, you gotta go with like all your friends. Or
I was gonna say
a fun group of people.
I can only imagine it really being fun if it was like a group of people just fucking around and being stupid. But like, there's probably some guys that actually do it to like, that's like their like they do it. They think they're having a relationship with the strippers. Like, I'd imagine that's like a whole different thing.
Yeah. No, I definitely have some friends who definitely like, after their 9 to 5, they're like, yes, sir, let me hit up the strip club and get dinner. I'm like, all right, that's on you, Papa. I'm fucking hitting up Chipotle.
Yeah, no, that's a little strange because it's like, they're probably like in their imagination they're probably like, oh, so and so is going to be there, but who knows, maybe these girls sleep with the guys. I don't know. I have no idea how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. It depends, because I know we went I know in Key West one of my friends took me to a strip club out there in Key West, and that shit was wild.
Was it?
It was crazy. Yeah, the dancers were ages fucking 25 to like 80. Yeah.
There was an 80-year-old stripper there.
Oh,
was she in good shape?
She was, she was looking good. She was looking good. Yeah, it was hilarious though.
I can never be a stripper. Like, I take care of my health and all that. Like, so that's not the issue. But like, I can't dance on a pole. Like, I would fall right on my ass. Or like, I don't think I'd be able to like socialize. Like, I'm doing fine with you now because we're one-on-one. But like, I think in that type of setting, I would be so fucking awkward.
With the multitasking.
Yeah. You know what I could probably do? Be like a cocktail waitress in a strip club. I could probably be really good at that. Like,
they
just
make
like
good money.
Like, wear a slutty top and like be fully clothed, but like kind of in a slutty top, but like bring the drinks. I could probably do that, but I don't think I could like straight up be like dancing on a pole. I think I would be terrible at that.
Yeah. I definitely don't think I would want to work in a strip club. Not even bartending or anything. I think it would just be a hectic work environment. You know?
Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting question. This is a philosophical question about jokes themselves, because you're also a stand-up comedian. It's funny, I think of you as like a show producer, but you're also a stand-up comedian. Do you think that behind every joke is some truth? Because like some people are like, oh, it's just a joke, but my hot take is like, yeah, but there's like always a little bit of truth in every joke, even if it's exaggerated. So what do you think about that? Can you have a joke about just like, no, that's just totally made up? Or is there like usually always something there?
For sure. I think it could just be made up. I think that's what's cool about jokes is they can be anything, It's just like our time to get on stage and kind of just whatever we want to say to the audience, we can. It can be all truths, all lies. It can be half truths. It can be something a lesson we're trying to teach them, I think it's cool. I think you can kind of rip anything.
But I still feel like even the ones that are lies, I mean, I would have to like think of a specific example. Okay, I have an example actually. So I did a roast battle once and I told me and my friend were actually arguing about the same thing. I'm like, there is always a little bit of truth behind every joke. He's like, well, what about when we did the roast battle and you told me I was like a pedophile or something? Like I called him a pedophile. He's like, that's obviously not true. I'm like, yeah, it's not true. You're not a pedophile. But the truth is like, you kind of look like one a little bit. Like, so even when you make it up, there's always like something there, even if it's just like a little slither of something.
Yeah.
Know.
I mean, I would also say, like, I think all the best comedians in the world,
Yeah.
like, they are 100% like spitting the truth. And even if it is half lies, like, there is kind of a hidden, you know, a story behind it or a perspective they're trying to get you to kind of understand that they see this, you know, this life, whatever issue, you know.
What's your, like, who are some of your preferred, like, comedians that you've listened to that inspired you to start doing comedy?
Yeah, I really love, like, old school, like Freddie Prinze. I like, you know, Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy.
Wow.
Yeah, I like.
You like the old school.
Yeah, Richard Pryor. I'll even throw down like Mark, Mark Norman now, but like Norm Macdonald too. You know, yeah.
Mark Norman is fucking. I haven't listened too much to some of those old comics. Like I haven't listened too much to Robin Williams or Pryor. Like I haven't done a lot of that, and I feel like I should because I hear so many good things. Like I'll be honest, I haven't even. I'm like I've listened to so many new comedians. Mark Norman is like I love him. He's
hilarious.
One of my favorites. Joe List. I really like Joe List a lot too. Definitely a lot of newer names, but that's interesting because you're pretty young too, so you just must have like done some digging to find these people.
Yeah, just to see. I'm always kind of interested in comedy clubs and all these comedy clubs around the country and how they started, you know. And there's this documentary about the Comedy Store on Paramount Plus, and it's about the Comedy Store and how they how like Mitzi Shore started that thing from the ground up, you know?
Yeah.
And it's about how Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy, Jim Carrey, like, started there. Like, our, you know, like young, trying out jokes, bombing hard on stage from the beginning of time when they were, like, first trying comedy. Yeah. But it was so badass. And that's where I was able to kind of...
I haven't looked into that documentary about Mitzi Shore, but I don't know if you listen to Joe Rogan. He's a huge, like... He talks about Mitzi Shore all the time on his podcast, and you can tell he gets very, like, emotional when he talks about her. And I sort of get a sense that, and this happens sometimes. I actually have a piano teacher that did this to me. She like inspired me so much that I feel like it changed who I was. But I get a sense that this Mitzi Shore person was so inspirational to all these people that he kind of tries to carry that. Joe Rogan tries to carry the legacy of Mitzi Shore in his comedy club. That's the vibe I get, that he's like, this was so fucking impactful on me that I want to like carry that torch onto my comedy club and create that kind of environment. I don't even know what that environment is per se, but I just heard him talk about her so much. So I would imagine that he's trying to like live on that legacy in a way. No,
absolutely. Yeah, definitely check out that documentary because it's so crazy to see them talk about it from how when it first started, it was like all they had as like, you know, Mitzi was just giving them a stage, giving them a chance to like, you know, do what they love. And then it just became like the ultimate comedian hangout, you know? With like legends, new comics, all of that.
That's the vibe I get from Joe Rogan. Like, I feel like he's always trying to like use his platform to give new artists a way to, like for example, Duncan Trussell, you know Duncan Trussell?
Yeah.
The history behind Duncan Trussell is that he was apparently laughed at like at different comedy shows. Like he was not very successful. Well, laughed at in a bad way. Obviously you want to be laughed at a comedy show, but he was kind of just like not laughed at. He was dismissed at different comedy shows because he had his little dummy, he had his little ventriloquist doll, and he wasn't really taken seriously. And Joe Rogan saw something in him. He was like, no, I see something in him. There's something about this guy. I want to give him a chance. And it was like through Joe's podcast that he was able to kind of give him a name and build a reputation for him. So that's the sense I get from him, is that, like I said, he's trying to build that, like, he just has a lot of love for all these people, and he's trying to like give them a platform to, I mean, people would argue it. They're like, no, he's trying to just give Alex Jones a platform to do conspiracy theories. But I see it as like him trying to like have a place for like different people to create their art and like move forward with it. So
yeah, no, for sure. Have you been over there to the comedy mothership?
I haven't. I've been to Austin, Texas one time before, but they didn't create that.
The mothership wasn't there.
Have you been there before?
No, never.
No, I would like to
go. I'm always
go.
interested. Yeah, I want to go.
I'm pretty sure, like, speaking of Kill Tony, I'm pretty sure his show is at that, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't his show at the mothership?
I'm pretty sure, that's like their like main hub for sure.
Yeah. It's funny because there's so many big name people in Austin, Texas now, but I feel like Austin, Texas isn't really that big of a, well, it is. It's like spread out. I wonder if like people just run into each other all the time there. Like, I wonder if it's just normal to like run into Lex Friedman or like run into Tony Hinchcliffe, because it's like not, I feel like it's like it's not a huge city the way like New York City is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've never been there, so I don't really know. But one of my friends went there to do some stand up and said that it was just like strips of just bars with nothing but comedy. Hundreds. Wow. Every person they met at any restaurant was like, yeah, I'm a comedian. Yeah, I'm a comedian. Any like server, bartender at the bars, all comedians. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
I wonder, like, I feel like that must be the new hub to get known now, because do you feel like Philly is a big enough comedy place to become famous as a comedian in Philly? Or do you think comedians would have to go to a different location like New York City or Austin?
Yeah, I think, I really think Philly is a place that you can become really good at comedy. You know, I think there's so many opportunities to become really good at comedy. And I think you can easily use like social media and all these outlets to get your stuff out there. And New York is just an hour away, you know? Yeah. So I feel like you can definitely, I feel like you can do it. You know, tons of people say you need to leave, you need to go to LA, New York. But I don't know. I feel like Philly is kind of brings opportunity.
I've heard of a lot of comedians who have gotten relatively big in Philly, but I've always heard that they went somewhere else. Like, I know Whitney Cummings started in Philly. Kevin Hart started in Philly, but I don't know did he get famous in Philly or did he go to LA to do that?
I don't really know too much, but I'm pretty sure you popped off here in Philly. I was pretty sure.
I feel like the Duran and Deer Tagger is getting, like, they're growing a huge fan base on YouTube. I just feel like they're getting bigger and bigger. So, you know what? I take that back. You might not have to go anywhere now, because I feel like YouTube, social media makes it that you can kind of live anywhere now. Because if you put, it's really smart that they're doing that Do-Rag and the Deer Tag podcast, because if they build a fan base like all over the country through that podcast, they might not necessarily need to leave Philly, because like they're just known on the podcast, which you can watch anywhere. So, and then that probably would open doors for them to like be able to have Philly be their home location, but to like fly to different places to do comedy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, which is dope. And they do it. They've been crushing it.
Yeah.
They've been flying around and stuff.
Austin, I think, right? No, they went to Austin and a couple other places, I think.
Yeah. Which is sweet. Isn't that cool? It's like, what, dude? I have people in Ohio listening to my podcast, you know?
Yeah. I know. I think Colorado has a comedy scene now. Am I crazy? Like Boulder, Colorado, or something over there, I feel.
Yeah, a couple of my friends live in Denver, and they said it's cool out there.
That's what it is. It's Denver. Yeah. I don't know where else, though. As far as I know, is like LA, New York, Philly, you know. I'm sure like Boston. I'm sure there's other like little hubs here and there that we don't know about.
Boston's popping. Yeah, I think New York, yeah. LA's cool. Chicago. Supposedly Chicago's really popping. Right. They have a cool amount of clubs.
Chicago. I don't think I've ever been there in my entire life.
Not me either.
No.
Yeah. I heard it's pretty though.
Have you traveled a lot?
I would say not too much, no. Yeah. Not a crazy amount. Yeah, I think I just moved the camera. My bad, everybody. No, yeah, I haven't traveled too much. I've been to a couple states. Been to like Italy and Europe and that's it.
Oh, really? You went to Italy?
Yeah. A little bougie vacation.
I'm Italian and I haven't even fucking been there.
Yeah, you got to pull up. You got to slide.
I'm ashamed to admit, like going back to the question I asked you about like what holds me back, money holds me back. I don't have a lot of funds right now. So like I haven't really done a lot of traveling just for so fucked up. I bought my first ticket to go to Europe 2 months before the pandemic and it never came to fruition because like the airplane, you know, the place I bought it, they're like, oh, you get a 2-year credit like towards being able to go. But like my money shit was so fucked up after the pandemic that like I couldn't even use the credit because like I didn't have enough money to like get food and stuff. So I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do? Fly to Italy and then have no money for food or like a hotel. So
that's such bullshit. Supposedly they switched that rule. So the airlines can't do that anymore by giving you credits. Like if it's canceled, they have to give you like the refund right away.
They didn't give me a refund because it was canceled because of the pandemic. But they're like, oh, but you have 2 years to use the credit. But then the 2 years passed. I never had an opportunity to use it.
That's BS. Yeah. Crazy. Come on, airlines, do your thing.
The only time I've ever like really gone anywhere was randomly Uruguay. Have you ever been to Uruguay?
Ooh, no. What were you doing out there?
I used to study Spanish. Do you speak Spanish?
I speak Spanish, yeah.
We should practice a little bit. I haven't practiced in so long, so it's really bad. But I used to be really good. I used to be fluent in Spanish. And I wanted to go somewhere to practice it, like to be in a place where I could like fully immerse myself in being able to speak the language. And Uruguay was good for that. But one of the main reasons I chose Uruguay is when I Googled like where can a woman go alone and not get murdered? Like in a South American country, Uruguay kept showing up like as the answer. They're like, yeah, it's really safe for women to travel there. And I felt it was very safe. Wow. I felt worse in New Jersey than I did in Uruguay. And it really was good to practice because like not many American tourists go there. A lot of Brazilian tourists go there actually because it's like closer to, it's so far south that you don't get a lot of, and it was interesting. Like the reactions I got from people when I was there, people were like, did you hear? They were like in Spanish, like, oh, es un Yankee, es un Yankee. They kept calling me a Yankee. And I'm like, what? Like they literally call like Northern United States people Yankees. And I'm like, that's so weird. And they were asking me questions. They're like, te gusta Eminem? Like they're like trying to imagine like what a New Jerseyan would be like. They're like, te gusta Oprah? Like, and I was like,
that's so fun. Would you end up, is there like cool beaches and stuff out there? What is it like?
There's actually like a city there. It's called Montevideo. There's like a really popular, I think that's the capital of Uruguay, Montevideo. There's a beach there, Piriápolis it's called. There's just like a couple, Colonia, I think is another one. There's like a couple cool spots, but I'm a city person. I'm not too much of a beach person, so Montevideo was really nice.
That's sick. Montevideo. I see you as a world traveler. Uruguay.
That's
okay.
Like the only place I've ever been. I haven't been to Italy. I went to Canada. I went to Quebec, Canada, but that you can just drive there. But I
just drive there. That's cool too. I've never been to Canada. That's another country. That's sick.
I've never been to Europe. I've never been to Italy. I haven't been to many states in the. I've been to some states, but I haven't been to many states.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite state?
Weirdly enough, Maine, because I went there as a child, but I still remember it being one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Like even as a kid, I was like 8 years old, so I don't remember much. I don't remember like what I did or anything. I just remember it being beautiful. All
right, girl, you gotta travel more. You said Maine and 8 years old. All right, let's take you to. You gotta go to Montana. Yeah. You gotta hit up Arizona. I want
to do Tim Dillon, right? Mm-hmm. He calls it disaster tourism, like going to visit a fucked up place. I want to do disaster tourism. Like I want to go. I mean, I'm not talking like Gaza Strip. Like I'm not talking that bad. I'm talking like I want to go to like some like middle of the woods, like redneck type of place where like there's really nothing to do there. I just want to like see what it's like.
See what the life is. Yeah. You'll probably see some crazy shit out here. And
like I want to go to Montana or some shit,
out with the bears.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
What about you? What's your favorite place you've been?
I think I don't know about favorite, but I think like definitely one day to have like a little cabin in Tennessee would be sick.
I've been to Tennessee.
Like Knoxville or something.
I've never been to like those parts of Tennessee, but I've been to Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Did you like rock a cowgirl hat and everything?
No, I do see like a lot of white girls doing that though. They go there with their little boots and their pink cowboy hat and all that. I don't like country music that much.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm an artist. Did you like find an opportunity to jump on the piano?
It was all country music, and I don't really know. I mean, I guess I could play country. I don't know, but it's just not my thing. There's no like R&B. I'm more into. I actually like the same music as you because when you were at Casa Duran, you were playing on the your Spotify. You were playing like a lot of like R&B soul type of stuff. Mm-hmm. That's my shit. Like I love that shit, and I feel like there's just not. Maybe now, I don't know, times have changed. Maybe now they have a scene like that there. But when I was there, it was just like straight up like country. So
yeah. Have you found any spots in Philly that you really like performing at or going to watch live music?
Weirdly enough, I haven't done a lot here. Like since I've been here, I've been having like random health issues for the most of the time I've been here. So I haven't like had much of a social life here. But there's a local place in town called Philly Brewing Company, PBC, and I do open mics there, and there's a lot of really nice people over there, but I'll be honest, like I'm ashamed to admit. Oh, there is a place called Black Squirrel Social Club. Have you heard of that?
Nah, never.
It's in, not too far from here. It's in like near Old City area, kind of over there, and it's a really cool jazz club, and I think it's like in an old church, like they like turned it into a jazz club, and they have like a grand piano in there, and that place is really cool. But I've heard Milk Boy is really cool. Have you heard of Milk Boy?
I've been to Milk Boy.
Is that cool?
Milk Boy's cool. Yeah, there's 2 locations. I've seen like live music upstairs, but like a performance, but I've never seen like open mics or anything there.
You know what pissed me off? I brought my mom to the city. I brought her to Chinatown, and I was like, let me take my mom out for like a Philly adventure, and we went to a karaoke bar in Chinatown, and the karaoke, like they had it where when you go to sing, the singer sings with you. I'm like, what's the point? Like, what the hell is that shit? And you had to pay money to do it. So like, I'm like, that's not karaoke. Like they would have it like that. Like, let's say you want to do a Mariah Carey song. Like you can still hear Mariah Carey's voice and you're like singing with her. I'm like, that's so fucking dumb. Like what the hell?
Yeah, that's wild. What's the spot? Can you put it on blast?
I don't want to shame them.
No.
I actually can't remember what it's called.
Dang, that's
that shit
disappointed.
I'm really disappointed.
You're like, it's my turn to fucking sing.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the point? Like, even if you're bad, like even if you're a bad singer, which I'm a musician, so I don't think I'm a bad singer. I'm not the best singer either, though. I'm more of a pianist than I am a singer, but I'm good enough to do karaoke. Let's just put it that way. And I didn't have my opportunity.
Yeah. How is that? When was the first time you were able to like play piano and sing at the same time?
Pretty, like in my 20s, I want to say. Like I started on piano, and I never really sang very much. But then I started fucking around, like singing and playing at the same time when I was in my 20s. But anytime anybody asked me, they were like, oh, do you sing and play? I'm like, I hate singing. I'm not a singer. But then an opportunity presented itself where one of my friends he had his own blues band and he was desperate for a singer. He had some gigs coming up and he's like, I need a singer. I'm like, I can kind of sing. He's like, can you do a tryout? And I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm not really a singer. And he's like, yeah, just do a tryout. And I sang a couple songs. He's like, that's good. He's like, and I was the singer for his band. So
damn,
I went from being like, people told me, I would always tell people like, I'm not a singer. And then I went from that to being a blues singer, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is really intimidating. And at the time, I had worked at some like corporate teaching lesson studios. I don't want to say their names because I'm kind of talking shit right now, but they were just wanted money, and they were like, oh, you're a singer in a band. We're gonna give you voice students. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't teach voice. Like you have to like have a college degree or be seasoned enough to be able to do that. I've been singing for like a month. So then I started taking voice lessons because I felt guilty like teaching kids how to sing when I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. So I was able to figure out what I was doing over time, and I think I'm a far better singer now. But I still prefer playing piano, and I it's funny, I get more opportunities as a singer, and I'm like, please, like just make me a piano player. That's what I prefer to do. You know?
Yeah, that's so cool. And are they like sole singing positions, or do you also have a piano while you're singing? Or like a keyboard or
both. I've had some where it's soul singing, but it's usually piano and singing.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, you gotta let me know when your next gig is. I'll be out there.
I do have one coming. It's hard to get them in Philly. It's not the same like in comedy. There's enough like underground clubs that you can get comedy shows in Philly. For music, and I know some musicians in Philly that they will blow your mind away with their skills, and even they're like, yeah, I have to go to South Jersey to get gigs. Like, I don't know whose dick you got to suck to get the gigs.
To get a gig, yeah. You should slide to Time on Wednesdays. Have you ever been there? The jazz bar?
I sent them an email, and it's not even like they saw my video and thought I sucked. They don't even answer the email. Like you'll call them and say, hey, I'm a musician. I want to do my stuff, and they're like, you can reach us by email, and then I'll email them and they just won't answer.
No answers,
it's like it's really hard to get your foot in the door.
That's what. So Wednesdays they have an open jam.
Maybe
so Wednesdays supposedly
if you're good there, then they'll hire you. I don't know,
but slide. You could meet the other artist, and I'm pretty sure they have like a nice piano there that you can just jump on, and then people bring their instruments too, and you can just fucking rip your shit. You're
right. And when is that? Wednesday?
I'm pretty sure that's Wednesdays. Yeah. Wednesdays downstairs. And I've
been wanting to come back to comedy. It's just I'm going through so much in my personal life at the moment, and so one day I have a plan to do that again. It's been a year and a half at this point. It's been a long time. Yeah.
Get back on the mic. Hell yeah. That's some experiences you went through. You got some more material, some new material to talk about.
Yeah, I have. You're right. There with every like life. What's the word I'm thinking of? Like when you go down, whatever word that is. There's always like. For the arts, it gives more material, like stuff to write about if I want to sing, like songs to write about, comedy material to write about.
Heck yeah, nah, for real.
All the dark shit makes for good art.
all the sad stuff.
Yeah. All right. I think we've been going for like an hour now. So yeah, literally exactly an hour. So I don't want to keep you hostage here on your Sunday. I'm sure it's your day off. So if you guys like what you heard today, again, this is Pranzata Podcast, episode number 138. If you are from Philly, I'm going to drop a link to his Instagram below so you can actually get on the Casa Duran comedy show train. trust me, like if you're a local to this area, or even if you're like local enough that you could drive in, if you're from New Jersey, if you're from New York City or like one of the surrounding states, you're going to want to come check out the show. So give him a follow so that you can look at his dates when he's doing his next show. And again, subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube podcast, if you want to. I just dropped something. If you want to help me reach the goal of my mission to be a full-time podcaster. I'm so close to getting this channel monetized, and it's not because I want to be greedy. It's because I want to have enough funds to make this a better podcast, better cameras, hire an editor, etc. So on.
Thank you.
And that's it. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Cheers, guys.